Welcome to Hotspot as we continue our look ahead to the Indian Premier League 2014 with me, John Pennington, in England, and joined once again by Chetan Narula out in Delhi. Hello, Chetan.
Hello, John.
And the full teams that we're going to be looking ahead to in this second of our preview hotspots, we've got Mumbai Indians, Rajasthan Royals, Royal Challengers Bangalore, and the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Chetan, let's start with the reigning champions, of course, the Mumbai Indians. You would always expect them to be strong. They've added to their squad in bringing in players like Corey Anderson, Mike Hussey, an interesting purchase. Just give us your thoughts on where they are heading into this season and whether they could indeed go on and defend their crown.
Well, just like Chennai Super Kings, I think Mumbai Indians are always expected to be in the mix. It's just that their performances over the last 6 years haven't been similar to Chennai Super Kings. The expectation is always there, but the performances haven't really come through. And finally, they were able to win the Indian Premier League last season when Rohit Sharma took over the captaincy midway through the season. Decent enough goodbye for Sachin Tendulkar from the T20 format, and then they went on to win the Champions League T20 as well. So, all in all, my point is, the performance factor has not always come out, but now they have a sort of a different shape to the team since John Wright took over, and there is Anil Kumble, who is the mentor. Now Sachin Tendulkar will also be mentoring the side as well. Interestingly, I mean, they are the one team you'll always expect to retain players, and that's what they were able to do again this year. They have Rohit Sharma from the last team, Aditya Tare, and Ambati Raidu, Kiran Pollard, Harbhajan Singh, Pragyan Oja, Lasat Malinga. They let go of Mitchell Johnson, of course. I thought he was an impact player, and they should have retained him, but they didn't even use their right to match card. So they let go of Dinesh Karthik as well, which I thought was a borderline decision, considering the fact that they're a bit lightweight in their batting department, given that Sachin Tendulkar has now retired and Rocky Ponting is not there. But they did get Michael Hussey. They lost Wayne Smith as well, but they did get back Michael Hussey, and it'll be interesting to see who they back to open the innings. Perhaps it means they have a bigger role for Kiran Pollard to play up in the middle order, because it's always been a complaint for them that Kiran Pollard comes way too down. As a finisher, which is a role that they're looking at, as a finisher, then they are looking at Corey Anderson, who's very, very useful, hits the ball a mile, and can take some wickets as well in the limited overs. So quite a decent addition to their side. In answer to your question, no, they are not one of my 4 or 5 teams that I think will be among the contenders here, and that is because I think, despite the fact that they have a bit of a huge amount of experience going around in terms of Anil Kumble and Sachin Tendulkar and John Wright, who will be guiding them, I think it will come down to how Rohit Sharma is able to perform as a captain, as a batsman. He's been a bit of under pressure, really, and he'll have to become their primary batsman now. Perhaps come in at number 3 rather than number 4, take a huge amount of responsibility. I think they are a little bit lightweight in their batting department. They needed one big name in there as well to take some pressure off Rohit Sharma. Mike Hussey is an opener, yes, but again, losing somebody like a Dinesh Karthik, I think they lost, that presence in terms of an Indian batting presence. They have good presence in terms of Pragyan Oja and Harbhajan Singh there, and Lasat Malinga, and Corey Anderson and Kiran Pollard, good presence in their bowling, with somebody to take that pressure off Rohit Sharma. Ambati Raidu is there, but Dinesh Karthik is not very consistent, and Ambati Raidu is even less consistent. So you can just see the that sort of the pressure on Rohit Sharma for scoring a lot many runs. Obviously, he'll probably now get the chance to bat up the order. Number 3, 4 might even come to open the batting. Who knows? Because Rohit, he's been opening the batting for India in World T20 as well. So, but still, a lot of pressure on Rohit Sharma.
And I mentioned in one of our earlier shows, Cheta, we've got a poll running across sort of social media on the website as well. And They're very much with you at the moment. Mumbai Indians sort of languishing down in sixth place, so not particularly well favoured, and perhaps that's why it is. It's just due to the balance of the squad, not quite enough batsmen, which is I suppose I can see they're going to be putting their bowlers under a lot of pressure. I mean, some days Lasith Malinga will be able to do it, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on the bowlers if they're only defending 120, 130.
Absolutely, and Lasith Malinga only has 4 overs to bowl, and he's somebody who's used in the he'll bowl 1 over in the power plays, then he'll come back and use his 3 overs. That's how Sri Lanka used him. Even for Mumbai Indians, he bowls 2 overs in the first 10 or 12, and then 16th, 18th, or 18th and 20th, depending on how Harbhajan Singh and all. I think Harbhajan Singh has to play a very, very crucial role for Mumbai Indians this season. Yes, like I stated, that they have John Wright, they have Anil Kumble, Sachin Tendulkar sitting outside the field, but on the field, you cannot have them sending messages every over. Rohit Sharma, he did win the IPL or as the captain last year, but again, a lot of dynamics have changed for the side. Like we mentioned, their balance, especially in terms of their batting and all-rounders, is not really looking very, very balanced at the moment. So Harbhajan Singh, with his experience, with his inputs on the field, he has to be hands-on with Rohit Sharma at all times, and I think that'll be very, very interesting to watch.
Okay, so moving from one team that plays in blue to another, the Rajasthan Royals, winners in the first season, of course, back in 2008 when they were led by Shane Warne. Didn't do an awful lot for the next sort of 3 or 4 or 5 years, and then last year, almost from nowhere, got themselves up into the playoffs, despite, again, a lot of controversy off the field. This year, no Rahul Dravid, although he's staying on as mentor. Shane Watson takes over the captaincy. What do you make of their chances, and how well do you think they've done in the auction?
Again, I think there'll be many factors around Rajasthan Royals off the field as well, and they will just want to concentrate. The one good thing is with Rahul Dravid, I mean, it's a huge loss for them, but he's staying on as mentor, and he'll be talking to a lot of kids out there. The problem with Rajasthan Royals is that they never invest a lot of money in getting huge marquee names. What they've done this year is they've tried to retain a few players. They've retained 4 players, which was like, I mean, that's quite a bit of a number. But then that was keeping in mind that they are not going to spend a lot in the player auctions, and that's why they were able to retain Rahane, Faulkner, Watson, and Sanju Samson. So I think that was a good buy for them. They've got Unmukt Chand as well, so you have an opener. Shane Watson could bat at number 3. You have Brad Hodge. I think they have a good mix of all-rounders. They have Rajat Bhatia and Steve Smith and Stuart Binney, Faulkner, Cooper, Abhishek Nair. So a good mix of play, along with Watson, of course. A good mix of all-rounders, both Indian as well as foreigners. So you can really play with your combinations, to say so. So that's there. And if you look at their bowling department, I think it's a bit of a lightweight. Shane Watson stocked up the chances of Kieran Richardson. They have Praveen Tambe in there, Tim Southee. Dhawal Kulkarni will be their spearhead again. Quite a bit of Australian and Mumbai flavor in there, I would say. But I think it's going to be a season of discovery for Rajasthan Royals. Shane Watson is a great player. I mean, he's a good cricketer, good all-round cricketer, but he's not Shane Warne, or he's not Rahul Dravid. He's not going to be, unless he performs, because he's been so important for Rajasthan Royals. There's added pressure of responsibility. Unless he performs, he may not be able to inspire Rajasthan Royals in the same fashion that Shane Warne or Rahul Dravid did. Shane Warne can use a lot of big words, even if he's not performing. I mean, he was always performing with the ball in the first couple of seasons. But even if he wasn't, he could talk people up. He knows how to talk. Rahul Dravid was always the talking one. He was in the T20 format. He was not going to be someone who was going to be always in the mix with the bat. I remember this Champions League T20 game last year, and he kept sending everybody in ahead of himself because he wanted to chase that tall score. And it was his last match. Came out to bat very, very late, number 7 or 8, if I remember correctly. But that's what Rahul Dravid was. He, even if he was not performing with the bat, he had in him to just inspire. Shane Watson doesn't have those qualities of Shane Warne or Rahul Dravid, so he needs to perform. He's so important for Rajasthan Royals that he needs to perform so to be able to inspire. And that's why I think the Rajasthan Royals might struggle a bit this season. Away from that, I think Ajinkya Rahane this time has to grow an even more senior role, because I think over the years he will perhaps be groomed as a future captain of Rajasthan Royals. He has to take that senior statesmanship role. He's been he's had a good season this year, not in terms of limited overs cricket, but especially in the longer format. But he's always been a very, very good performer for Rajasthan Royals. So I think he needs to bring that aspect out once more, because once the Indian team is selected next time around, the IPL performances will again live in. Not had a great limited over season, so he really needs to kick on, press on, become the senior statesman for Rajasthan Royals. Because if these two players can fire, Watson and Rahane, and we can get a new combination for Rajasthan Royals, they might be able to surprise. But otherwise, I think it's going to be a little bit tough.
Yeah, another thing with Shane Watson, he's not got an awful lot of captaincy experience that I can sort of remember. And you picked up on a point that I actually wanted to make, Chetan, about the sort of Australian and New Zealanders in the Rajasthan team. You've got Steve Smith, Tim Southey, Shane Watson, James Faulkner, Ben Cutting, Kane Richardson and Brad Hodge. And there's a player who sort of got a surprise recall, didn't he, to the Australian team. And could he played? I think he played a key role last year, if I remember, in Rajasthan, winning some really tight games. Does he have one more season in him? Do you think, Brad Hodge, to turn a few surprises?
Yeah, I think so, absolutely, because he's always been that sort of a T20 player to just come in towards the death and hit out and take the measure of the slow bowlers and the fast bowlers. The thing about the IPL is it's not international quality, John. I mean, in the last hangout we discussed how Morne Morkel was able to make this impact in the IPL, not on the international T20 scale. I think it's a little bit similar for Brad Hodge, because even in the BBL, it's Big Bash. It's not. I mean, international quality is a little bit different, because there's you have 5 bowlers who's not gonna let you have any breather. Here you have an inexperienced domestic junior player coming in, doubly bowling, and you're just able to take 20 runs off him, and the game changes there. Similarly, with Morne Morkel, comes in, bowls to domestic players who've not seen the ball rise, and he takes a couple of wickets, and the game changes altogether. So I think IPL has a different flow, flow of cricket, a flow of T20 cricket in that sense, because once you get your inexperienced players out, they are dismissed very quickly, and suddenly the team is under pressure, because after all, it's a game of cricket. You're 11 batsmen, 11 fielders. So these variables change a lot in terms of international and IPL cricket, and I think Brad Hodge has a certain presence in IPL cricket. The only thing that I would want to point out here is what Shane Watson shouldn't do, which George Bailey did. As we discussed in the World T20, Australia needed a holding batsman. I thought Brad Hodge was the perfect holding batsman who should have come up a little more higher than number 5 or number 6, perhaps at number 3 or number 2. That sort of a player he is, Brad Hodge. If he can play that role, obviously he's not going to open the batting with Unmukt Chand and Rahane and Shane Watson in the top 3, Sanju Samson and probably 4. That's the position you need Brad Hodge in, 4 or 5, not later. You cannot have him later. You need him to pass the situation very, very quickly. I think that's that sort of role, and I think with the Rahul Dravid and Paddy Upton in the management there, they understand this role, and that's why Brad Hodge is so impressive in his outings for Rajasthan Royals.
Okay, I think I'd probably be with you, that I don't know that they can repeat last year's sort of success of getting all the way through to the playoff week, but who knows? As you've said a lot of already, any team gets on a roll, gets a good start. Who knows? They could surprise a few. Next team to have a look at, Royal Challengers Bangalore, the team that has come so near yet so far on a couple of occasions. We have written down a few of the star-studded batsmen they've got in their team: Chris Gale, AB de Villiers, Virat Kohli, Yuvraj Singh was picked up for a huge price at auction. But the question maybe is, where's the balance? Are the bowlers good enough to back up that batting? Should it not quite work?
Well, Virat Kohli likes to chase, so he'll have pretty high totals every time he goes out to bat. From what I've heard, he's looking to open the innings with Chris Gale in IPL for RCB. So Every time he goes out of bat, he'll probably be staring at 160, 180, 200, 220, depending on the mood of his bowlers. I cannot see them conceding. I mean, I was trying to make a fantasy one of the websites on the IPL official IPL website. I was trying to make the fantasy league team. I was looking at their bowlers, and I was just wondering what have they done. You have Mitchell Stark, Ravi Rampal, Muttiah Muralitharan. Muttiah Muralitharan, I would want to discount because it's been so long he's played. He's just in there for some fun. I'm not going to say that he's not a serious bowler. He's obviously a serious bowler, but against, he fading bowler. So you have Mitchell Stark and Ravi Rampal, but you cannot play them both. Or even these three, you cannot play them because you're obviously going to play Chris Gayle, AB de Villiers, and so where is the balance? And then you also have Albi Mokel in there. So where is the balance? They have to rely a lot on your Indian bowlers. And who are your Indian bowlers? Ashok Dinda, who's not really one of the great bowlers, Then you have Varun Aaron, who is quick, but he's very, very expensive. And apart from that, you do not have one bowler in there of prominence. So you're expecting Yuvraj Singh to bowl 4 overs. He's not in the greatest of forms. He's not very, very confident mood at the moment. So who is going to bowl? Chris Gayle is going to bowl. Virat Kohli is going to bowl. John, every time they come out to bat, they're going to be chasing 160 minimum. And so how many times are you going to chase down that score? That's going to determine, how quickly or, how good RCB perform in this IPL. Batsmen to do it, but you cannot. T20 law of averages, whatever you say, it cannot be done every time. If RCB managed to win the IPL with this bowling attack, Virat Kohli should be made Indian captain right now.
That's a bold call, Chetan. I know you sort of shy away from making predictions about who will win, but I quite like that one. Bangalore won't be chasing anything less than 160. Do you think they were maybe guilty then of putting all their eggs into the sort of Yuvraj Singh basket at auction, and that left them just too short to pick up any quality bowlers or young bowlers that might perform?
I think they were a bit caught out in the auction. I mean, we know how the auction panned out. There was a bit of a controversy there. They said the auctioneer put his hammer down at 10 crores, and KKR raised their paddle, and it's the auctioneer's prerogative, and he made the final call. And the bidding went on to 14 crores, and then 4 crores makes a lot of difference. I mean, 4 crores you could have bought 2 or 3 good quality bowlers, and otherwise you're just stuck up with like Varun Aaron. I don't want to pull anyone down, Varun Aaron or Ashok Dinda. You cannot buy quality. That's what I'm trying to see. You one more good bowler of international caliber, or somebody like a Mohammad Shami or Bhuvneshwar Kumar, or even who's the other Indian quality bowler. I'm not sure who are on the players auction list. My point is, you can do a lot with four extra crores. So yeah, I mean it's that sort of a point. I mean, but they are very, very happy that they have Yuvraj Singh. I'm not sure if they're very happy now seeing his form in the World T20. So it's that sort of a gamble. They are one of the teams that I think will be in my top 4 or 5 to make the knockouts, and that's because of the quality of the batsmen they have. In Chris Gayle, they have the most explosive T20 batsman. He's playing 14 league matches. If he's fit throughout, he will win you 6 games on his own. That's for sure. He will win you 6 games on his own. Then there is Virat Kohli, who's perhaps the most exciting batting talent, and from what I've heard, he's going to open the batting. So he's batting 20 overs. We know what he can do. Then there's AB de Villiers, who is, I think, the best batsman in the world at the moment across all formats, and we saw what he did to Dale Steyn last year. And if he can do that he's not going to bat for 10 overs in every match. But if he can get it even in 5 matches, he's going to make an impression. So these 3 batsmen have it in them to take RCB to the knockouts. But do they have the bowling attack to crack? Because once you get to the knockouts, the margin of error becomes that much more smaller. So once you get to the knockouts, do they have the bowling attack to go, if they qualify the 4th team, to win the eliminator, to go to the next round, next qualifier, to the final? I don't think they have the bowling attack to go through and win the IPL. I think they have the batsmen to go to the knockouts.
Yes, I think it's again go along with pretty much everything you said there, Chet, and it's maybe going to be a step too far for them to get into the playoffs or the final. But my word, it's probably going to be entertaining watching them one way or the other, because if say if Gale, Kohli, De Villiers, even if Yuvraj, puts one of his special performances in, it's always going to be entertaining to watch. Final team then, the Sunrisers Hyderabad, another team who really surprised and entertained us last year, despite not many of us predicted that they'd do particularly well before the tournament got underway, but they did do very well indeed. New captain this year, Shekhar Dhawan, comes in to lead the side. Maybe, I don't know whether that's because teams have seen all Mumbai Indians have done quite well with Rohit Sharma, and we're going to promote one of our or I say young, very young in terms of international experience players to captaincy. What do you make of that move and their chances overall?
Well, John, he's one of the big impact players, and when your impact players fire, they lift the spirits of everyone. What's happened with Sunrisers or Deccan Chargers in the past is that they make their if or with any other team, which it happened with Mumbai Indians last year as well. So if you make one of your overseas players captain, and he loses form and becomes a liability to the playing 11, then the captain has to drop himself, and that's not a situation while it's magnanimous of the captain to drop himself, that's not a sort of situation that you want to find yourself in. It doesn't happen just in it can happen anywhere. Look at Dinesh Chandimal, he dropped himself and Sri Lanka went on to win the bloody trophy, and Lasith Malinga is the one who gets to pose with it. So, well, that's fair. What I want to say is that it's a situation a team wants to find itself in, and obviously there's also the factor of local connect. In Sunrisers Hyderabad is just in their second year, and they want some more local connection with the people, and an Indian player obviously sells more than an overseas player, especially in the Indian Premier League. And Shikhar Dhawan is one of the most exciting batsmen out there. Having said that, it's not just about Shikhar Dhawan. I think they have Darren Sammy, who is their vice captain, so they have a good experience in there. Dave Steyn is in there, Irfan Pathan, Aaron Finch, David Warner, all experienced players, good players. So, and Tom Moody is a very, very sane head, and I was very impressed with the way he coached them to the semi-finals or the knockouts last season. I think they are again in contention for the knockout place. One of my top 4 or 5 teams to go through. I really like Kings 11 Punjab. I really like what I'm seeing here. Finch, David Warner, Manpreet Jadeja, Shikhar Dhawan, Venugopal Rao, Brendan Taylor, Naman Ocha, Darren Sammy, Irfan Pathan, Parvez Rasool, Moses Enrique. So specialist batsmen, specialist all-rounders. Quite a few foreigners, Indians, and the same thing is in their bowling department as well. You have Amit Mishra, quality T20 bowler, Ishant Sharma, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Irfan Pathan, obviously he's an all-rounder there, but looking at Karan Sharma, who's a handy leg spinner, and obviously Dale Steyn. They also have Jason Holder in there. So you're looking at, again, a good mix, Indian bowlers, overseas bowlers. So they can change around, and they have 2 or 3 players for every position. I don't think it's a 33-man squad, but what I'm trying to say is that they have all their bases covered. For the opening, they can open with Aaron Finch and Dhawan, with Warner coming in at 3, or Warner and Dhawan, Finch coming in at number 3, then Rasool, Sammy, and Venugopal Rao, and a couple of youngsters who did very well for them last year. So, and then you have Irfan Pathan, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Ishant Sharma, Dale Steyn, a 4-pronged pace attack, or you make Bhuvneshwar Kumar sit out, and you have Amit Mishra, who's a certainty to play, Parvez Rasool with his off spinners, Venugopal Rao with his part-time off spinners. So, like I said, they have all of their bases covered. When a team like that has all of their bases covered, it's a very, very interesting mix. I think it's even a better mix than what Kings 11 Punjab has, because this has evolved from last season. Sunrisers Hyderabad already know what they're doing. Tom Moody already knows what he's doing, and I think they are a very exciting team to look at.
Yeah, the keyword that you mentioned there, Cheta, was the way they've evolved from last season, because I seem to remember, and you may correct me if your memory is better than mine, that before last season we sort of, well, they might challenge, but I can't remember which department we thought they were weak in, possibly opening batting or something. But this year, I think we're both agreed that they have got every base covered. I've written down on my thing, squad strength, players like Moses Enriquez, Brendan Taylor, Jason Holder, who may only play 1 or 2 games, but would possibly get more of a game, for example, if they were playing for the Royal Challengers Bangalore. So really, they do seem to have it all covered. Aaron Finch and David Warner, we're almost expecting them to open together. Whether that is or isn't the case, they didn't have a great World 2020 together at the top of the order, but that is an opening partnership that if it tees off, it could just be as exciting as watching Gale and Kohli, maybe.
I think I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I was throughout the World T20. I was looking forward to seeing David Warner blast off, because I've seen him blast off for the Delhi Daredevils, and I was very surprised that they did not buy him back, because they got Murali Vijay, and no offense to Murali Vijay, but he is a slower batsman than David Warner in any format on any given day. And they almost went for similar prices, 5.75 for Vijay and 5.5 for Warner. I'm not sure of the exact price, it was somewhere around that. So I was very surprised that Delhi Daredevils did not get David Warner back, but then again they had Quinton de Kock. But again, you're looking here, when you talk about Finch and Warner, you also have Shikhar Dhawan in the mix. And I was I was looking at one of the pictures that the Sunrisers Hyderabad's official Twitter handle tweeted today. They had a practice game, and it was Finch and Shikhar Dhawan who came out to open, which means that Warner comes in at number 3. So my point is, they can play with this combination throughout, and Aaron Finch has really developed as a very good T20 player. He led Pune Warriors last season for half of the tournament, if I remember correctly, and it was perhaps even more than half of the tournament because Michael Clarke pulled out. So you're looking at a player who has some captaincy experience in the IPL, who knows these conditions well, and the way he batted in the World T20, I thought that was very good. So, like we said, I mean, they have 2 or 3 options or combinations for every position, and as a team, somebody like RCB, who have a wealth of batsmen but no bowlers or all-rounders to boast of, I think they should be very jealous of somebody like Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Great stuff. Well, that just about brings us to the end of our sort of previews, looking ahead to the Indian Premier League. Chetan, thank you for your insight as ever.
Yeah, always a pleasure, John.
And of course, it all gets underway with the Kolkata Knight Riders taking on the Mumbai Indians. Then we go right through until the 1st of June. Chetan and I will be catching up on a regular basis, reviewing the action, making some predictions, trying our best to preview what's going to happen next and all sorts. So do join us as the tournament progresses. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye for now.